Welcome to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. I'm Amy Shannon, but you can call me Amy. Thank you for listening. Hello and welcome, and I hope all is well with you. I'm Amy, and today I am talking about the book ban week. It's from September 22nd to September 28th. I keep a list of books that have been banned and the ones that I am interested in reading. I read them, and then I, of course, will write a review, and I will talk about them whenever possible. Now, there are the American Library Association is where I get a lot of my information about banned books, but I also have authors who not necessarily are, trying to be an advocate for books that aren't, for books to not be banned in certain areas, but, want me to know about information. So I get a lot of those email requests. Also, if you want to be an advocate and support the American Library Association, it has a membership, but the membership, you actually have to be a librarian or work in a library. So that is the only thing holding me back from joining this this agency, the American Library Association, and it's ala.org. So you can find a lot of information on their website. And one thing I find interesting is that every year they post the top 10 most challenged books. So with this year being 2024, they are posting the books from 2023. And I always keep a information about certain books, and so the American Library Association also has a place where challenged books, you can get their list, you can print out a flyer or an advertisement. They also have resources and tools, so you can share on social media. If you read a book that is considered one of the most challenged books, and you write a review, I would also, share that information. You can tag the American Library Association. You can tag Amy's Bookshelf Reviews on, social media such as X or Facebook, because I do get a lot of requests, but I also have a pile of books that I am slowly going through when I have time to read them. I put my priorities for my author's request, and when I say my authors, it's kind of like anyone who keeps coming back, and there's a reason why they keep coming back for me to read them, read their books, and I really enjoy reading new authors and experienced authors and their different work. And also, I mention if they actually have, if one of their books has ever been challenged or banned, that they can send me that information, and I would be glad to share it with my readership, my audience from both of my websites, amysbookshelfreviews.com and essenceenterprisesus.com, where you can get information about me and my work. So I'm going to go through the, as I said, the date for banned book week is September 22nd to the 28th. But even during times that are not those dates, if you subscribe to various book literary newsletters that share information, you can also find lists of books, and a lot of them they're not on the top list anymore of like the classics, because there have been classics that were banned. I know that The Diary of Anne Frank was banned in Germany when Anne Frank's father, the only survivor of their family, published Anne's diary. If you've never read The Diary of Anne Frank, I recommend that as a must read. Also, if you can look back at other books from the classics that you have read, and maybe you can read them again. There are also, if you look on Amazon and looking for classic works, they have Amazon has republished or reprinted a book on Kindle of something from hundreds of years ago, and you can usually get them for either free or 99 cents. And you can read classic books that way. They also have a great many varieties of books. And of course, you could search for challenge or banned books. So what I'm going to first talk about is you will see, I'm going to go through the books from this one is the top 13 most challenged books of 2022, and according to the date in 2022, which they did this in 2023, they came out with a report. The American Library Association tracked 1,269 challenges to library, school, and university materials and services in 2022. Of the 2,571 unique titles that were challenged or banned in 22, here are the top 13. And why it says 13, because there are books that are tied for a number. So the very first one, actually we'll work our way down from 10. And actually it's would be 13, but tied for 10 is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, Crank by Ellen Hopkins, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews, This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson, Number 9, Out of the Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez, Number 8, The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Axel, Lawn Boy by Jonathan Evison, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. And this is tied for number 5, Looking for Alaska by John Green. Number 4, Flamer by Mike Corrado. Number 3, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Number 2, All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. And number 1, Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. Now, out of these books so far, Lawn Boy's on my list to read. I have some other ones as well. All Boys Aren't Blue and The Bluest Eye. So those were interesting books. Genderqueer is a graphic novel, and it's a graphic novel. But I think that if you are uncertain about the LGBTQA plus community and how gender, it's been a hot topic of people deciding to be a gender neutral, or I don't want to say the wrong thing. So some are, they have their own self-described identity, not male, not female, not, transgender. They also self-identify by whether or not they participate in sexual activities or not. Yes, many of the books on this are related to LGBTQA plus, and some of them they say there's sexually explicit. And personally, I believe the only people who should be able to tell others what to read and what they can't read would be parents of children that are under the age of 18. I would not want to be told by another parent, oh, your kid can't read this. And because we have freedom of speech, we should have the freedom to read. And I understand how some kids are, or some parents are concerned about what their child reads, and they should be. Some books are too old for them or too mature, but when they're children's books, kids that read will grow up to be readers, that, people that read. Some kids only read because it's necessarily, you have to be able to read when you're in school. And some they don't have so many times where they think that they can read. I tell you, when I was growing up, if I said, oh, Mom, I'm bored, she'd hand me a book and say, here, read, you won't be bored anymore. Or go outside and play, So it is quite interesting. Excuse me, my throat was a little dry. It just seems like since the pandemic of COVID-19, when people were having to, shelter in place and stay away from people, more and more books were being banned. And where they're not, well, some classics are still, banned from school. Some classics, some people like and some people don't. There are classic books that are considered classics that I'm not interested in, or authors that I am not interested in reading their work. Classic authors, I have my favorites. In the times where they were written, sometimes they were banned or challenged or burned, either because of the content of the book, where some people, or one or two people, said, oh, you shouldn't read this book because it's got a specific word in it. Or, it talks about self-harm, or, something like Romeo and Juliet, or Hamlet and Macbeth, and Leaves of Grass. And I say Leaves of Grass because Walt Whitman is one of my favorite all-time poets, him along with Shakespeare. And I love Edgar Allan Poe. But some of their work was judged based off of the lifestyle of the particular author. Just because you seem a little crazy does not necessarily mean that your work isn't good. I think when you're a writer, it's like that, those many voices in your head, except you're putting them down and you're creating characters from them. You don't have to be crazy to write. But getting back to the most challenged books of 2023. So I'm going to start at, this one has 10. And let's see. Starting with number 10, Sold by Patricia McCormick. Number 9, Let's Talk About It by Erica Moen and Matthew Nolan. Tricks by Ellen Hopkins. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. And that's for 7 and 8. Number 6, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Number 5, Flamer by Mike Corrado. Number 4, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Number 3, This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. And again, the top 1 and 2 books. Number 2, All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson, and Gender Queer by Maya Kubabi. Now, I think they are very interesting books. And, you know, we should be able to say, oh, I'd like to read this book, or I would like to read this other book. And I have a lot of books on my bookshelf that I have read, and some I haven't. But, you know, and there's even a book that the American Library Association has published, and it may have an update. It's called Read These Banned Books, and inside the book is a list of various books, not just the top 10 or top 13. So what I want to do, and this I know goes back, the book Gender Queer, I am a proud owner of a copy of it, and I know this has been on the banned book list pretty much since it was printed. So, it's a graphic novel, and there was something interesting about this book. It's Gender Queer, a memoir, and it's with a variety of graphics and storytelling, and yes, sometimes there's images of nudity, and there's a passage in here that I want to play. Or, I'm sorry, to read. Let's see. I want to get to a part where that was interesting. Okay, so I am reading page 28. Finally, in the summer between 5th and 6th grade, I had a breakthrough. Harry Potter mania hit my class in 1999. My mom was reading the second book out loud to me and my sister one chapter a night. That simply was not fast enough. One night, I snuck the book and a flashlight into my bed. I vowed not to sleep until I figured out what happened next. By morning, something magical had happened. I had become a reader. A much less welcome change was around the corner. My stomach hurts. I feel awful. What's happening? Oh, no. My favorite fictional character at this time was Alana the Lioness, a short, stubborn girl who disguised herself as a boy to train as a knight. I listened to the audiobook by Tamara Pierce and read by Trini Alvarado over and over throughout my childhood. Alana's first question on starting her period was, "How long do I have to put up with this? I didn't ask to be born a girl. It's not fair." Because of the Alana books, I knew periods involved bleeding every month, were related to the ability to become pregnant, and were really a totally normal and natural thing to happen to young teenage girls. But I never thought it would happen to me. So it is very interesting about the experience with being being born a girl. So I'm skipping to page 41. I remember when my mom told me. For a long time I had planned on naming you Robin, whether you're a boy or a girl. I wish I had been named Robin. I wish I had any gender-neutral name. Maybe I can change my name to Robin, or Sammy, or Taylor, or Skylar, or Alex, but I couldn't get any of them to stick. My first crush was on my neighbor Galen. His sisters thought it was cute when we kissed, so we did. My second crush was on a tomboy girl in elementary class. I asked her, "Can we kiss?" and she said, "I'd rather not." My third crush was on a cocky boy 3 years older than me. I was so embarrassed around him I could hardly speak. My fourth crush in 8th grade was on a girl who had a Lord of the Rings nickname. It was this time around that I looked up the word gay and lesbian in the dictionary. What am I? 1 week before I started high school, I told a friend about these crushes. My mom said girls getting crushes on girls is pretty normal and is probably just a phase. So I could go on in reading this book, and if you are interested in learning about people in Maya's situation, also I learned that there are, instead of using pronouns, there's a variety of phrases that people will refer to themselves as. I've read several of these books, and I still have a lot of books to read and to share. So this has been one of my sections, which I used to call Amy's Banned Book Buzz, and I will probably have more episodes about banned books. I thought I would schedule this one because of the Banned Book Week, but of course, every day, every week, every year, more and more people are challenging books just because they don't understand. They haven't even read the book. They just read the title and say, "Oh, it's got this something in it." My opinion, you can't not like a book until you read it. And you can't love a book until you read it. So, before you start saying, "Oh, I'm going to challenge this book. I don't want my kids to read it. I don't want other kids to read it," you should focus on your own children. But also, I think more adults should read children's books. But if you aren't sure if your child should read a book or not, read it yourself and then decide. Don't think just because it has a specific content, because a lot of times in the last few years, most of the books that have been banned are either about the LGBTQA plus community, and also they're about races and cultures that are, there's so many varieties of these, and don't, if you don't want to read a book, fine. Don't tell other people they can or cannot read it. If you don't want to like a book, or you don't like a book, you should at least read it to know that you don't like it. It's like when you eat when you eat food. You can't say you don't like something that you've never tasted. A book is that way as well. So, anyways, if you're an author and you want your book or one of your characters to be on the show, more details on my website. Go to amysbookshelfreviews.com/podcast for more information. If you're an author and you want your book reviewed, go to Amy's Bookshelf Reviews for more information. Please feel free to subscribe to my website, where you'll get all my great email campaigns, blog posts about authors, their books, and recommendations. You might be as lucky as I am to find that hidden gem that keeps reading your work for your new favorite author. Be well and be safe, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next week. This has been Amy's Bookshelf Reviews podcast. Thank you for listening, and always be kind and stay safe. Thank you.